The Surreal inline editor is similar in feel to Muse's own in-browser editing. However, it offers significantly more options for adding content, images, and even code snippets like YouTube videos. Let's take a look at the Surreal inline editor. So as we saw in our last video, if we click into an item, we can simply select the text and change it. But there are additional controls up along the top for styling functionality and for adding things like images and embeds. So in terms of styling, there is a drop down here that lets us select some different styles, and we can actually predefine those styles in Surreal. We can also override styles by clicking font styles here, and we can change things like the size and color and background. And then of course we can add images and links and that sort of thing. So one thing I recommend if you're going to create kind of a blog or a page where your customers are going to be constantly filling in content is to pre-style some of the content in that blog. And let me show you what I mean. So let me jump back to Muse for now, and I'm going to create a new page. And let's call this page, I'll maybe base it off our services page here. And let's call this page blog, just like that. So I'm going to open the page up, and let's call this blog title. And I'm just going to say content goes here. We can just do generic placeholders. And I'm actually going to delete out all this content for now. So let's just delete that all right out. And now I'm going to take a text frame and I'm going to drop it into this area, just like that. And maybe we'll bring it down a little bit so it's smaller. And I'm going to give this text frame the editable class so that we can edit this within Surreal. And you know what? I'll make sure I have applied it also to this title and to this top. So our intention with this page will be that our customers or clients can constantly fill content or text content or images into this block, and the page is just going to get longer and longer. This isn't going to be a separate page for each blog post or anything like that. So what you might want to do for them initially is pre-set up some styles and looks that they can use as a base. So we could do something like this. Title 1. So I'm going to select Title 1, and let's just give it a style, something we've used on the site, so maybe this. Now let's create a content style. We'll say content goes here, and let's apply just our regular body copy style there, and that looks good. So once we've done that, I'm going to publish the site up again. Let's click publish and click next and publish this up. Since this is a new page, we'll need to let Surreal know that there's a brand new page on the site to edit. So once we get it uploaded, we can modify that in Surreal. Okay, so now we've got a page called blog. It's not linked up to our navigation, so I'm just going to navigate there directly. So it looks like this. So if we drop back to Surreal, and I'm actually going to exit the editor completely, notice that blog isn't yet enabled as a page for editing. So now I'm going to enable it. So again, enable pages, and once it loads our page listing, we're going to select blog and click done. So now users can edit it, and we'll click on it to edit it. And now, because we've defined some styles within there, when your customers go ahead and edit this, they can add their titles and information in and not worry about removing the style. So this could say post 1, how to use Surreal CMS. We can add some content below. Let me add some lorem ipsum in here. Something like this. And we'll paste it in this section. So now we've got some text. So your clients can edit all of this. They could say Muse Themes blog. Okay, that all looks good. And when we're done writing our post, we simply hit publish and it's live on the web. So if you wanted to add an image or a video in this section, we could just add a couple line breaks, click on the image option. Now within the image dialog box, we can select, let's say, a folder. And if we hadn't uploaded an image already to our site, let's go ahead and upload one now. So I'm going to create a new folder. I'm going to call it uploads, just like that. So this is actually creating this folder on our FTP. Okay, so now we've got the uploads folder, and I'm going to upload a graphic into that folder. Let's just do something like a simple image. How about this? Okay, let's click open, and Surreal is going to upload that directly to your Muse site. So it's now selected. We can hit select, and it asks us how big we want to put this into the site. Well, I'm just going to put it in initially at 2,000 pixels wide. We could even add some alt text. So let's go skateboard and click submit. And notice it came into our site, but it is absolutely massive. So in this case, you can select the image. You'll get some transform controls on the sides, and let's just shrink this down until it fits a little bit better within our box. Okay, so now one thing that you'll want to make note of is the way that Surreal interacts with responsive Muse. In this case, Surreal does not know that this image needs to be responsive and needs to shrink down as we scale the page. And I'll show you what I mean. Let me save this and publish it. I'm going to view this web page live. So here's our page with all of our new content in. So if I shrink this page down, you'll notice that the text in the image is not responsive. And the issue with that is because in our frame, in our Muse file, right here, we never set any responsive sizing controls. So you'll need to make sure that if you intend on content being responsive, we add responsive width to this frame. So I can publish that back up again. And I'm just going to refresh the Surreal editor here so it loads in the new page. Okay, now that Surreal has reloaded this page, this frame now has responsive sizing applied to it. But you'll notice that our content that we just put in is gone. This is where versioning in Surreal can be really awesome and really tricky. Watch this. If I click on Edit and click View Revisions, and I drop back to the revision that we did just 3 minutes ago, you'll see that our content actually comes back, but it reloads itself in the brand new Muse page. So as I scale the browser down, you'll see that our text is now responsive based on the breakpoints we had in our Muse file. Pretty great. But the image itself is not responsive. And the reason for that is because this image needs to be set to 100% of the frame that it's in here. So if I actually select this image and I go up to the image dialog box here, it asks us to set our width and our height. And unfortunately, Surreal out of the box does not accept percentages in these boxes. This is an area where if we work with the team at Surreal, we can improve the CMS to better cater to Muse. What I'm going to do initially though, is I'm just going to click on this code button in the top right with my image selected. And you'll see on the actual skateboard here, it says width and height. I'm going to delete the height out for now, and I'm going to set the width to be 100% and just click submit. So now you'll see that the image actually kind of snapped to be 100% of the frame. And if I shrink it down, the image also scales along with the breakpoints that we've set up in Muse. So Surreal is really powerful and it's very smart. There are some really clever ways to integrate Muse into Surreal, and we're just scratching the surface of what we can do with these two systems.